I also think that that's quite like an interesting one to consider when thinking about if it's actually the right treatment for you, because if you want to know more about the Avalon Texture Release, then this is probably going to be the video for you. I'm answering all the questions that were left on my first texture release video. I thought I'd put all those questions and my responses into one video. The answer to that question is, of course, yes, you can. So when I first ever got the texture release, I didn't straighten my hair for about 3 months after. So I literally just did like braid outs, twist outs. I attempted a wash and go, fail. I actually barely used heat. Sometimes I used a blow dryer, sometimes I didn't. I stretched my hair without heat. I played around with it and I really honestly didn't straighten my hair for a good few months. The aim of the treatment is obviously to make your hair that little bit more manageable. Obviously, a lot of the time when people get texture releases, the finish that you see is like the super sleek, straightened, like, oh my God, I can't believe I got my hair this straight type of like finish. But you don't have to get that done if you don't want to. If you just want a little bit of help with, I don't know, speeding up your wash day, strengthening your hair, then it could be a good solution for you. Absolutely, yes. You can do all the same things that you would have done with your hair before you got a texture release, if that makes sense. If you want to get braids, if you want to braid up your hair underneath a wig, you can totally do that. You can do everything that you could do without the texture release. You can do it with the texture release. This is a really interesting one because someone said underneath my video they recognize this treatment as essentially a keratin treatment. From my understanding, this is not a keratin treatment. It does have a similar kind of longer term straightening effect to your hair, but it doesn't have the same chemicals which are supposed to be better for your hair than a keratin treatment. But there will be some similarities found between the texture release and keratin treatment in terms of like the results that you might get, but the actual formulation of the products are different. I am not like an expert in like scientific things, and I never ever like claim to be. So if you are at all like concerned about if this is a keratin treatment or whatever, I would implore you to 1, do your own research, 2, speak to a stylist, a stylist that you trust. And I asked my stylist about this and she said to me, yes, you can, but you just wouldn't do it on the same day. I think she might have said you can do like, you could do the texture release first and then wait like a week or 2 or something like that and then get colour put on, or you can get colour put on and then wait a couple of weeks or wait a week or 2 and get the texture release. So the answer is yes, you can get colour with a texture release. The answer is yes, but you will likely need like a decent amount of new growth in order for this to even make sense. Like, how a stylist is gonna like will perform this treatment on like a really small amount of new growth. The only way I've heard that people use this with relaxed hair is if they are transitioning to natural and they just need to make that new growth texture more manageable to deal with the 2 textures as they kind of transition through that process. If you're enjoying this video, I would love it if you could hit the like button. Let's try and spread this video as far as it can go so that more people can know about this wonderful treatment and find out if it's for them, and have questions answered that, you know, they can't find answers to anywhere else on the internet. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that. And I think that is a really interesting question, because obviously this treatment is like marketed as a semi-permanent, like it's not a relaxer, it's not going to permanently alter your curls or any of that. It eventually washes out, but there is some debate about whether it actually is semi-permanent. For me personally, I don't know if it is semi-permanent because I have not really seen it wash out completely of my hair. But I do also know that there are people who've had it in and they were like, yeah, after a few washes it was gone. Like, it's gone, my hair is back to how it was before. So I really think it depends on like your own hair, how much your hair takes to the treatment itself, maybe how frequently you wash your hair, what products you use to wash your hair. Some people actually shared that they got it done and, you know, a year later they could still see that line of demarcation where their new growth was coming through, and their texture release hair was a slightly different texture. So that's a whole year. So, and actually someone made a really good point. They were like, my stylist said that how could this be a, I'm paraphrasing, but like, how could it be a semi-permanent treatment if there isn't a specific product to wash it out? Which is an interesting kind of like way of looking at it. And I also think that that's quite like an interesting one to consider when thinking about if it's actually the right treatment for you, because if it ends up not being something that washes out of your hair eventually, like, are you going to be happy with that? Like, is that okay for you to essentially have to keep going back and getting it like topped up, like almost like a relaxer? This is another bit of a confusing one. I think that the product has been reformulated. Now, this is, I have tried to do some research like to find out what all of this is about. So basically, when I first ever got this done, I was told for 10 days, I can't tie my hair up with a hair band, I can't put curls in my hair, I can't get like any kind of bend to my hair. From my understanding, and I can't remember if I read this on like a forum or if a stylist told me this, but I think that they've reformulated the product. And I think the old product, the rules were that you couldn't put bends in your hair because essentially if you did that, that would disrupt the treatment processing in your hair. So I think since then the product has been developed and it's evolved, and I don't think those rules are still in place, but I could be wrong. Like, if there's any stylists that end up watching this video or anybody who knows a bit more about this, give us some knowledge in the comments about this. It will last longer than a normal silk press, yes, but eventually you're going to sweat it out, but like it will last longer than a normal silk press. What I will say though is what tends to happen for me, because I sweat a reasonable amount, your roots will revert to a point, but the rest of your hair, I actually find that the rest of my hair stays pretty much intact even if I'm sweating, so that is good. Whereas if I got a normal silk press with no treatment or anything like that on my head, if humidity, if sweat, if any of those things come, it's poof. I think the question that I've been asked the most since I put my video out was, what salon do you recommend in London? My answer to that, I did answer this question a couple of times on my video and to people in DMs, but I'll answer it here. I don't have a like home salon that I can really recommend. I have been to a couple of salons in London to get this treatment done. The first salon I went to was Elite Hair Lounge. I think they are fairly like well known and popular, at least on social media. I had a really good experience there. Didn't have me like waiting. I came in, got my appointment straight away. It was a long process, but there wasn't like, you know, one stylist doing like 3 different people's hair and all of that kind of shenanigans that can sometimes go on at black hair salons. So service was professional. The girl that did my hair, funnily enough, we actually went to school together, which was so bizarre. She knew about the treatment, she did it well, and I was happy with the service. I would insert pictures of when I got my hair done at Elite. What I would say about Elite is I've only been there once, so it's hard for me to recommend somewhere. I'm really careful now not to recommend places that I haven't been to like a good few times. Like, you know, you have a really great experience somewhere and it's like, it's so easy to be like, oh my god, I loved it there, like I recommend it, it's amazing, it's blah blah blah. Like, I don't want to put my like seal of recommendation, I know that's a small thing, but like, I don't know, I don't want to say to you guys like I really recommend you go there when I've only been there once. Like, that could have been a really good experience with that stylist. Like, I don't know exactly what it might be like, but I will say I did have a really good experience. It would be remiss of me not to mention that there was a little bit of controversy around that salon. Do your own research, make sure you're comfortable. I was going to go there again to get it done, but they didn't have any appointments at the time that I needed to get an appointment, so I went to another salon. I'm actually not going to name that salon because I'm gonna do a story time on that salon. That was another London-based salon. Seen like good reviews about them. Their Instagram, their work looked like good quality, all of that kind of stuff. So I went to this salon and unfortunately I did not have a great experience. The only reason I'm not gonna say the name of that salon is kind of for the same reason. I don't want to name and like bash a salon and be like, I didn't have a good experience there, blah, 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 blah. When I only went once, I am not compelled to ever go there again. So I'm not gonna give them another chance, if I'm honest. I'm not gonna openly deter like more people from going to a Black-owned salon when my experience was likely to have just been a one-off, if I'm honest. Like, the salon looks like it's a good quality salon. I just had a bad experience. And for me, I'm not taking that chance again. So the place that I actually go now is an independent stylist. She's based at home. I used to go to her when I was like a teenager. She is really talented. She's very busy. She works from home and stuff like that. So it's kind of a bit like, I'm not entirely sure if it's appropriate for me to be sharing her information. There is a salon that I want to try, which is kind of a bit of a risk, but clearly you can see I like to take risks with my hair because I've been to 3 salons. There is a place, I'm going to put it on the screen. On Instagram, I like their page, I like their work, I think their colour work looks really good. I know I can see that they do texture releases there. Like, I might just go there and get like a silk press at some point, just to like test the waters, see what I think about them. If anyone is watching this video and is based in London and knows of any really good salons in and around London, please drop them in the comments. And what I'll do is I'll just update the description of this video and I'll just keep updating it. Would love to like send some more business their way. If you're interested in finding out more about my experience with the texture release, then I'm going to link my next video for you here. Don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.